What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bat in the Hat podcast, where we dive deep into all things nerd. My name, of course, is Adrian Veit, and with me, as always, is nobody. Nobody is here. It's just me. Surprise! Matt is not here today. I don't actually know where Matt is. If you see him, please call me. Let me know. Message me on Facebook. He's been missing for quite some time. Guys, COVID hit pretty hard. And not in the fact that we got sick or anything. Me and Matt we both did get sick. We have no idea if it was COVID or not. It was right at the beginning, and both of us got pretty ill. I guess if you guys were listening, or if anybody remembers, there was we were sick doing the podcast together, and it was back in March, I think. And it's just been a shitty time, man. It hit us all financially. It hit us all personally, just what we were doing. Family members have been getting sick, and really kind of freaky stuff has been happening. And it's set us back. We were doing this podcast very consistently. Well, semi-consistently. We were doing this podcast pretty consistently. And we were doing it every other week, every month. How again, it was a little sporadic, but it was something that we've been doing and loving for the last year and a half, really. And then COVID hit, and suddenly, boom, no more Bat in the Hat. I mean, we were getting our YouTube channel ready. We were getting every duck in order, every duck in a row that we were preparing. And this hit, and again, it hit us financially, was probably the biggest one. Matt got a new job, and it made it very hard for us to link up, which is, a shame. And it's something that, I finally got to a point recently where I was like, fuck, I have not done my show, this show that I birthed, this thing that I created. I've not done it in months. The last show we did was in March, like mid-March. That is a long time ago. It's September. It's like the end of September. So I wanted to do this show today. I wanted to sit and talk to everybody, and kind of, especially since I have the house to myself, and it's a nice, quiet, relaxing day. I just got my my new desk area set up with all my Funko Pops and posters. I got all my comic book posters. I have my signed picture of Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes from the movie Clerks, like it's a print from the movie Clerks. Very cool. I got all my graded comics set up, and all my nerdy figures. Like, this is a very nerdy, serene space. Head over to the Instagram, Bat Hat Pod, at Bat Hat Pod, and check out. I took a little video of it just to show everybody. But I really wanted to do a couple things today. One, somebody requested it. I was very on board because, gosh, did I love the movie. Somebody requested that I do a review of Superman, Man of Tomorrow. And I really wanted to do that. But also, because we've been gone for 6 months, I really wanted to kind of do a 2020 recap. Like what did I call it? Like a 2020 roundup, like what happened in 2020. I have a lot of notes. I have about 4 pages of notes. And I really want to, 4.5 pages. I really want to get through this. However, this is not going to be a long podcast. This is going to be maybe an hour tops. However, what's interesting about it is I know for a fact I'm forgetting a lot of shit. Like, I tried going through like articles and stuff, being like, what all happened in 2020? A lot of shit happened in 2020, that affected the nerd world. And obviously outside of the nerd world, and that rippled in, affecting the nerd world. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So in the spirit of that, I'm going to miss a lot of shit. I'm not gonna hit everything. I just a lot of the things that I wrote down were just stuff that I was like, man, this shit is mad interesting, and I would love to talk about it, even if it's just a couple of words on some of these, subjects. But so I think I kind of want to do that first. I want to go through the 2020 roundup and then get into my review of Superman. You know what? Scratch that. I disagree with myself. I disagree with. I want to talk about Superman first. That one's gonna be kind of quick. Man of Tomorrow, man. Let's just dive into it. Let's just get into what we're doing today. Superman, Man of Tomorrow. From what I understand, the first movie to start the new continuity. It's a DC animated movie. The last continuous series was part of their New 52 line. And I think that's kind of interesting because those movies didn't start. Well, I guess, yeah, they started around the time that the New 52 started anyways, but the New 52 has been over for 4 years, almost 5 years. We haven't had New 52. But those movies kept going, and they did a great job. Really great. Now, they were not faithful exactly to the comics. And some of them incorporated books from when they did Hush. That clearly happened before the New 52, but they did it in that style. They did a lot of the Batman, Son of Batman, like when he met Damian, that was all before the New 52, and then kind of incorporated it into it. But all in all, great movies. And Apocalypse War was the last movie, and it was amazing. And it's kind of interesting because I expected the next one to kind of still follow off of that, but reboot instead of just a hard reboot. Because at the end of Apocalypse War, spoiler alert, they were defeated, basically. The world was in shambles, but they beat the bad guy. And they were like, Barry, go go create another Flashpoint, that's the answer for sure. And then that's supposed to... So this is the movie, I guess, that restarts continuity. I don't know that for sure. That's what I was reading about. That's what a lot of people have been saying. So take that with a grain of salt. This could be a one-off, but I doubt it. What's really interesting is that it has a star-studded cast. It immediately brings the heat with Lobo, Martian Manhunter. You get Lex Luthor, of course. You get Parasite. Brings the heat with that stuff because I think Lobo, first of all, the main man, he is an awesome, awesome character who doesn't get enough screen time or book time or whatever, But star-studded cast, man. Darren Criss of Glee fame plays Superman. And again, don't just equate Glee and Superman and be like, ugh, because he does a phenomenal job. And I think Darren Criss is a very talented person. I've been a fan of his for a long time. Lois Lane is played by Alexandra Daddario. I've seen her in a bunch of things. I know she has the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen on this planet. Very beautiful girl. And she was in the Baywatch movie with The Rock and Zac Efron. Very funny, talented. Lex Luthor is played by Zachary Quinto, who you guys may know from American Horror Story and the Star Trek movies. He played Spock in the Star Trek movies. Jonathan Kent is played by Neil Flynn, who is the only reason I love that is because he was the janitor in Scrubs. For anybody out there who used to watch the show Scrubs, the janitor's hilarious, and he plays Pa Kent. And then Lobo is played by Ryan Hurst. Ryan Hurst, who you may know as the racist white kid from Remember the Titans, who has a change of heart later in the movie, and then I think dies, if I remember. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. And Opie from Sons of Anarchy, one of my favorite shows of all time. Ryan Hurst plays the main man, and he does a phenomenal job. And so I don't want to... This is not going to be a spoiler review. This is going to be a very... just things I liked about it without necessarily spoiling the actual plot of the movie. It's a lot of fun, man. It's a fantastic animation style. There's this scene towards the beginning where he flies up into orbit for like the first time, right? He's young. He's like a 21-year-old, 20-year-old. He flies up into orbit and feels the sun's radiation for the first time. It's honestly beautiful. Just the art style, I think, is beautiful. Really, just a really cool. I don't know. I'd call it like a fusion, man. It's like anime. It's like clip art. I don't know. It's kind of jarring at first, but all in all, a really solid art style, really appealing and works for Superman and for that cast of characters. I'm sure it would work for any DC character because it's just a really fun. I actually very much hope that the rest of the movies are going to be in this art style because the last set of continuity was all in the same vein. They were the same continuity, so it all looked the same. I wouldn't mind seeing all the new movies like this. There was a couple neat little Batman cameos and not cameos as far as him showing up, but you saw him on a flyer, or Ma Kent. She mentioned that she said I think a line was really funny, was like that nice little Batman fella I keep reading about. I just thought that was so funny. Love when they put cameos in there without overdoing it. We didn't need a full-on Batman right away. I will say that if there was anything that was slightly disappointing, kind of in the vein of every time you see a new Batman movie, they always show the Martha and Thomas dying scene. You know how that gets old? A lot of elements, not a lot, a few elements of this movie were kind of that, but for Superman. It was like Superman not knowing where he comes from, and then somebody unlocking a thing that was in the ship, that like a puzzle box, and him being like, what's Krypton? And I don't know, just a bunch of stuff that we've seen so many times before. I just didn't give a shit. How again, that's not the majority of the movie. I wouldn't say that that's the movie in itself. But there were scenes of that where I was like, oh, fuck me. Like, we get it. Like, we've seen this so many times. I could see why they put that stuff in, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bitch about it. I think there was a really nice, like, line of, like, vulgarity and adult content. DC is for sure for an adult audience. It's for the older fans. They have stopped catering to children. They still have lines of comics that are made for younger people, and lines of like books and graphic novels that are definitely made for like children and stuff. But as a whole, DC is a dark, gritty, medium, and it's not Marvel. Marvel has tried its best to do some of that stuff, and I think it just doesn't work as well. Or they are half-assing it because they don't want to go full tilt. But DC is for adults, and there's some really adult funny jokes in this movie, and I appreciate it. I'm definitely a fan of like the more R-rated DC stuff. I just am. I think that it's awesome, and I think it works really well. Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. There was somebody on our Facebook page back when Apocalypse War came out that was like, we have kids, and DC, don't ever do this again. Okay, it's first of all, the movie was rated R for a reason. Like, don't fucking watch it with your kids if you don't want them watching a rated R movie. But also, no, that's what they want to do. They want to move into that more adult kind of atmosphere and not be catering to children, and I think that's smart, man. I think that's what DC is kind of all about. I will say that every single of the voice acting in this movie was fantastic. Everybody, Zachary Quinto is an amazing Lex Luthor. Darren Criss and Alexandra Daddario are like very convincing and very fun Lois and Clark. Again, young, millennial Lois and Clark. Ryan Hurst made an outstanding and like super loyal version of Lobo, I think. I mean, it's kind of hard to, if you know the character at all, then it's not hard to do a loyal version because Lobo is Lobo, but it was very good. The voice matched. I don't know. I loved it. design wise, I know we talked about the art style a little bit, but let me talk about Superman's suit. It was super retro. Like when he finally got his suit in the movie, very retro, very cool. Uh, I don't know. It was like again a mix of, it felt modern, but it also felt like George Reeves-ish, just very classic old Superman suit. I loved it, man. I thought it was outstanding. I wouldn't change a thing about that. Uh, I think just in total, this movie is 100% worth watching. If you get the chance, man, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, it's an animated DC film. I'm sure it's in Redbox. I know I've seen it in Redbox, or you can rent it on demand through some of the different streaming sites. Watch it, man. It's a really really cool Superman movie, and I'm excited to see where the DC animated continuity is gonna go from here. You know, I think that it's gonna be neat. So. Yeah, that's my little review. Again, I didn't want to spoil anything. I just hope you guys get the chance to watch it and see what it's about, man. Definitely make your own opinions and let us know on the Facebook page. We're gonna make a post for this podcast, so go ahead and comment on that post. Tell us what you thought of the movie. Tell us, what else you thought, and anything else in this episode of the podcast that I talk about. Go ahead and let me know what you thought. But let's go ahead and jump to the DC. Well, DC. Gosh, you can tell how much of a fanboy I am of DC when that's how I that's how I automatically address something as it's going to be DC. No, it's the 2020 roundup. It's not just DC. It's DC and Marvel, and it's going to be talking about all the things that happened in 2020. All of the things is a loose term. It is going to be talking about most of the things, or a good amount of the things that has happened this year that I remembered, or that I could find articles for, that because again I just forgot a lot of stuff. That being said, let's go ahead and dive in. It's been a crazy year, man. It's been knuckin' futs, it's been a really weird, awesome year to be a comic fan. A lot of things have gone bad. A lot of things, delays as far as COVID shutting down filming and all that stuff. That stuff has that sucked. But we've also gotten some really cool stuff. DC Fandom was awesome, in my opinion. It was a cool virtual experience. You got to, sit there and kind of listen to, man, they had all of the big, names in DC. Anybody who was a writer or artist or somebody you just gave a shit about listening to what they're creating, they had in DC Fandom. And it was a really cool experience. And that was just really the filler, because everybody was waiting for the certain panels for the Batman and for other things so that they could see a trailer. We wanted trailers, and trailers we got. Let me tell you, we got a trailer for the Batman, and it looked incredible. I mean, Robert Pattinson, if you are still on the fence about what Robert Pattinson is going to do as Batman, fuck off. He looked outstanding. And that little scene of him beating the fuck out of some thugs, man, absolutely Batman. Everything about that was Batman. I loved that whole trailer. I thought that the Nirvana song overlay was expertly chosen. I think that what's it? I don't remember his name. The guy who's playing Commissioner Gordon, his kind of narration of the riddle, seeing the Riddler, setting up one of his riddles with a dead body. I mean, it was incredible. It looked really good. Everything about that trailer looked awesome. I've watched it 500 times. But again, I'm a fanboy. Let me know what you guys thought of it. We also got a Snyder Cut trailer, like a full ass Snyder Cut trailer that showed Darkseid, like a rendered Darkseid, which is interesting. I loved it, man. I'm a huge fan of Zack Snyder. I'm always on that Snyder train. I disagree with him on the fact that Batman kills, but again, for the Batman he is portraying, the old, tired, just done Batman, I get it, I totally get it. I think that Batman as a character, he doesn't kill, but I do love those storylines of, well, this is Batman and he's close to retirement, and he's just fucking done. He's done with it. So he snaps a couple necks, whatever. Again, if the Joker had been killed, years ago, how many lives would it have saved? So, anyways, getting off that, we got a trailer for the Snyder Cut, and it was again very cool. A lot of people did not like the Dark Side render. They didn't like the design. I think that's crazy. I think it looks it just looks like Dark Side. Except he wasn't wearing a shirt. I thought it looked great. I love the redesign of Steppenwolf. I love some of the extra scenes that you saw. We got to see Iris West getting saved by Barry Allen. She was adorable. That was a very cute scene just in the trailer. I can't wait to see that stuff. Apparently, we're going to get a lot more Cyborg, which is something I've been craving because I love Cyborg as a character, and I think that I think we got a fair amount in the theatrical movie, but I would always want to see more, and I would love to get that backstory of him and his father at Star Labs and stuff. Let's see, we got the trailer for a couple games. The Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League trailer. Awesome. What's weird about it is that, so we got that in the Gotham Knights trailer. The Gotham Knights trailer, although it seems as if it picks up at the end of Arkham Knight, because Batman's dead and he's leaving them instructions, it's not. It has nothing to do with the Arkhamverse. I think that WB Montreal was very salty that they wouldn't get the next game, and so they were like, fuck it, we'll do our own. And they were like, this is our version if it picked up after Arkhamverse. But what's interesting about that is the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League game is in that Arkhamverse continuity. The actress who plays Harley Quinn is the same actress from the Arkham games. It is done by Rocksteady. It is absolutely in that continuity. And it's really cool because you get Deadshot, King Shark, Boomerang, Harley Quinn, and I know there's somebody I'm forgetting. Fuck. But I think it looked very, very cool. It gave you a feel of how they were going to be getting around the map because all of them had different methods of fast travel. It looks like Deadshot stole a jetpack from... it's either his own jetpack or it actually, to me, looks like he stole a jetpack from Firefly. Harley Quinn stole one of Batgirl's or one of the Bat Kids' grappling hooks, and that's how she gets around. Boomerang has and legit, this is actually from the comics, which I thought was really cool. He has a Speed Force boomerang. So he throws the boomerang and it allows him to run to that boomerang very fast. So wherever he throws it to, he can instantly kind of travel to. I think that's awesome. King Shark has that kind of I just jump around and I Hulk jump, far distances, which I think is cool too, man. It looks very cool. I can't wait to see some gameplay. And I may not even watch the gameplay footage for that because I want to really experience it. I know it's going to be a good game. There's no doubt in my mind. We also got gameplay footage for the Gotham Knights. We got a trailer and gameplay footage, and that looks phenomenal. I mean, nobody's going to tell me that looks like a bad game. The only things that were questionable to me were the co-op options. You can play the story mode online co-op, which I think is interesting. I think that's cool, but I don't know. I just want to make sure that it's a game that I can thoroughly enjoy if I don't want a co-op, because I don't play a lot of co-op games. I'm a story-driven game kind of person. But I thought it was great. We also got, we didn't get a trailer for the Flash movie, but we got a lot of insight into the Flash movie. And some of that insight was that Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck are both confirmed to come back and be in the Flash movie. So Ben Affleck, who was not supposed to come back as Batman, they are both coming in as Batman for that movie. Now, is that going to be the movie that writes Ben Affleck out of continuity? Maybe. Who knows? I have no idea. But I think it's cool as shit that they are going to bring him back, and they're going to bring Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton is going to be playing the same version of his Batman, just an older version from his Earth, and I think that's cool. I'm stoked. I gotta tell you, I'm really really excited. We saw a little design of the Flash's new suit, which is I guess Bruce Wayne is gonna design and make him a suit, because the suit, as much as I actually really like the suit from Justice League, uh, it was hobbled together. You know, it was just materials that he was able to get, and there was a lot of wire connecting everything. And so now he's going to have a legitimate suit that I don't know if it's the Michael Keaton Batman or the Ben Affleck Batman who's going to make that suit for him. But it is going to be obviously like a Flashpoint story, and it's gonna be really neat. I'm really hoping they haven't said anything about Reverse Flash. I want an on-screen Reverse Flash. Like, I fuck, do I want an on-screen Reverse Flash? Like, I'm looking at my Black Lantern Reverse Flash Funko Pop right now, and I want him. I want it. I love it. I think that would be you can't do a Flashpoint story without him. I guess you can. They'll figure it out, but I'll be upset. Yeah, I definitely want a Reverse Flash. So hopefully we get that. Wonder Woman 2 is set to release soon on Christmas. It was just pushed back again to Christmas, which is over a year past its original release date. It was supposed to release in like October of 2019, and now it's been pushed once again to December of 2020. I'm still excited about the movie. I'm not, I'm not the biggest Wonder Woman fan, but of course I am a fan, and I think it's going to be a fantastic movie. We got a new trailer for that during DC Fandom, and we finally got to see the cheetah, like in her full cheetah form, which looks very cool, man. They're going to do a good job with that for sure. Black Widow is set to release November 6th, so Black Widow is actually going to release earlier than Wonder Woman, which is crazy. I'm getting more and more excited about Black Widow. I think that the prospect of the rumors that have been coming out about how Red Hulk is supposed to be created in this movie, AIM is a huge part of it. The twist of who really died in Infinity War, and was that actually Natasha or Natalia, whatever you want to call her? I know that it's been like both in the comics, but this is Natasha, right? Natasha Romanoff, whatever her name is. I'm excited. I think that Black Widow is going to be a cool movie. We got a WandaVision trailer just recently, which, fuck, it actually looks really, really good. I'm excited about that. It's going to be a very trippy kind of what the fuck is happening kind of show. And I honestly can't wait. I'm wondering if it's all happening because they're trying to revive Vision, and this is all happening in the minds of Wanda and Vision. Yeah, that looks great. Still no news on Falcon and Winter Soldier. We kind of got a look at Falcon's new Captain America uniform, but man, all this, no, there's been nothing from Marvel but just delays, and I'm not blaming them. It's really not, they're probably doing what's smart, and they're doing what they need to do to keep people safe, but it's frustrating because when we're now at the end of 2020, and I don't think there's been a single Marvel movie this year, or Marvel anything this year, and that sucks. Dan DiDio was fired by AT&T. Is it AT&T or Verizon? No, it's AT&T. I'm pretty sure it's AT&T. AT&T owns DC, and Dan DiDio was like the chief editor, and he was fired because they did not like the direction that he was pushing. They had this generations plan. It was going to be generations 0 through like 5, Gen 0, Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, and Gen 5. And the idea was it was going to start meshing all of the different versions of these characters together, pre-crisis everything. So each crisis obviously has reset the universe, and in the DC universe this last couple years, they've been finally privy to it, and they're like, oh my god, there's evidence that this universe is a reboot. I have memories of this whole other life, or I have, this doesn't make any sense. Where did this person come from, and why do I know him, but why do I not know him? So they were kind of setting this all up so that after the death metal event, which we're going to talk about in a minute, it's been phenomenal. After the death metal event, they were going to do this Generations kind of reboot, And I don't know if it was going to actually reboot the characters again, or if it was just going to be DC being like, "Hey, we're going to try something totally different." But they, I guess AT&T did not like it, and they fired him, which is crazy to me because I loved the idea of the articles I was reading and what they were saying they were going to do. I thought was neat. So now they have an altered plan. I guess Jim Lee is kind of back in that like head seat, but I don't know. DC also dropped 25% of their comic lines because now let me just say this is not because DC is doing poorly. This was a smart business move. DC, people think that DC somehow struggles to compete with Marvel. It absolutely doesn't. When we're talking comics and pretty much every other line of medium, that's not movies, they excel. They destroy Marvel. Video games destroy them. Comics, they very well compete, but they compete with less books, which is, in my opinion, destroying them. They've never had nearly as many titles as Marvel puts on the shelves because Marvel overkills everything for $1. They also don't do nearly the stupid, this random book that means nothing has 32 variant covers. Now they do it for their like seminal issues, like Tech 27, Detective Comics 1027 just came out, and it had like 12 variants because it was like through the ages, which I thought was really cool. It had a bunch of different artists and writers who had been a part of the series prior to it. But DC cut their line down because they were like, hey, these books, nobody's buying them. They're being ordered very low. And for some of us who read like all of that, it sucks, but I totally understand it. DC is also very confident that they're going to be, maybe within the next year or two, it could be longer, but maybe within the next year or two, they could be moving to a purely digital platform, which before anybody moans and groans about that, honestly, that would be best for everyone. I mean, but I hate reading on a tablet. I don't care. Save the trees, first of all. Like, first and foremost, the amount of paper that is now not going to be wasted, the amount of money you will that the company would save by producing one product and putting it on the internet to buy, and then, which they already do. I mean, you can already buy digital comics, so it's not like this is new. It'd just be exclusively this. And then a lot of people would be like, but it's so easy to steal off the internet. Fucking, again, they do it already. So the amount of money they would save. And then I'm sure what would be awesome is they'll probably move to a subscription service. So instead of you having to pay fucking $4 a book, you can pay $20 a month, $25 a month, and you'll have access to all of DC's books and whatnot. I think that would be awesome. That would be what I would do, is I would jump right onto all the digital stuff, and I'd be happy for it personally. Moving over to Marvel, and we're going to talk about some DC stuff here in a second again, but I'm kind of jumping back and forth. By the way, none of this is not like a timeline of what happened in 2020. This is very all over the place. I was just writing down as many ideas as I could think of. So they're in absolutely no kind of order. But Marvel had some really great characters and really great storylines and story arcs come out. Cosmic Thor, they had a really phenomenal written by Don Cates, whatever he's going by now. I heard he doesn't like Donnie anymore. Really great run where Thor got the power cosmic, and I mean, gosh, very, very cool stuff. They had Absolute Carnage. Carnage obviously is one of my favorite characters, one of a lot of people's favorite characters. Carnage kind of took over, and you saw a lot more infected, which, yes, is very old hat, but like Miles Morales infected by Carnage, that was cool. The Red Goblin coming back, that was cool, man. I think a lot of that stuff was cool. We got a trailer for Morbius. It did not look good. I gotta be honest. That Morbius trailer looked like shit. Sony does not know how to make a movie, I still don't think. But I will say that Jared Leto's a pretty good actor, so I think that there's always hope. Spider-Man was rumored to show up in Venom 2, which is something I would love because I'm dying to see them kind of cross over. We got the PS5 reveal. We got the Xbox Series X, which is the new Xbox. We got that new reveal as well. But what the PS5 reveal gave us, and I think it releases in like a month now. Like it's pretty soon. What the PS5 brought us was the trailer for Spider-Man Miles Morales, and that is a continuation off of the Spider-Man PS4 game. However, it is not a sequel. It's not a true sequel. It is a full game, and it is a probably just as long. I think they said it might even be longer and have more stuff than the first game. However, it's not a true sequel because this is exclusively following Miles Morales's like blossoming into Spider-Man, in his version of Spider-Man. Yes, you're going to see Peter. Yes, it's all connected, but they're just saying it's not a legit sequel because the first game was Peter's story, and we're going to continue Peter's story. So like a lot of those cliffhangers at the end of the game, you probably won't be answered. It'll be different stuff. Those cliffhangers will be answered in the next Spider-Man game with Peter. Which I'm excited for. I love that game, so I can't assume that anything. And Miles Morales is one of my favorite characters of all time. So Brian Michael Bendis is phenomenal. Let's see. DC had the Death Metal event, which is going on right now, as well as Joker War, which is also going on right now. Phenomenal shit, man. Death Metal is weird, man. It's the ending. So the beginning, the what are they calling this? Rebirth was kind of started by, the Apocalypse War and the New 52. It was Rebirth. And then you started getting all of these kind of tips about Dr. Manhattan being a big part of the current DC generation. And he was. We got that in Doomsday Clock. We got a lot of cool stuff coming from that. You had directly after that, you had the Metal event, which kind of kicked off Rebirth in a big way, and then the last couple years, and now Death Metal, which is ending it. And I think there's a lot of fuckery, like fucked up shit that is about to happen. I'm so excited. I love it. I'm not going to spoil anything for you other than it's really, really good. So hop on that if you haven't. Don't even trade wait for this shit, man. Just read it. Just get whatever copies you can and make sure you're reading it. They also had the Joker War, which is going on now, which is in the Batman stories and the Batman surrounding stories by themselves, which is really cool because this is something I think that is kind of new. You would think of a Joker story as old hat. You'd get kind of tired of it, but James Tynion kind of took something and said, what if Joker really stopped holding back? What if Joker not only knew who Batman was and always knew, but decided, okay, now I'm going to ruin his fucking life. I'm going to destroy everything. And there are some of the most savage and saddening panels of comic book I've ever read during this. I love it. I love everything about it. James Tynion gets Batman. He understands just as well as I think the last couple writers. Tom King, phenomenal writer, loved his Batman run. Scott Snyder, legendary Batman run. James Tynion is the next one, man. He is making some really cool shit. I'm stupid excited. I think that it's honestly one of the coolest times to be a comic fan, especially for DC, than there's ever been. You also had Sean Gordon Murphy. He writes the White Knight and the Curse of the White Knight series. Not only was Curse of the White Knight outstanding and worth every second that you're reading that book, but they announced that they are going to expand because it's kind of its own contained universe. They're going to expand it into a series of books written by other people, and he is going to oversee he's still going to write some titles, but they're going to bring in other writers and artists, and it's going to be called the Murphyverse because it is so. He created this world that is so interesting, and they wanted to expand on that. And then you had Tom Taylor with Deceased. Deceased is kind of the Marvel Zombies of DC, but way more holy fuck. Like, everything is a slap in the face, and I love it. That, like, people, like, at some point you almost stop, like, being surprised that people are dying, because right off the bat, like, people you didn't expect, because they never die. They never die. But here, they died. if you haven't read Deceased, you got Deceased 1, Deceased 2, Deceased Unkillables, and Deceased Hope at World's End, which is the online exclusive. Read them all, man. Read them in order. Fucking insane books, man. I love it. I didn't think I'd really get this into any kind of zombie book, but Tom Taylor knows what he's doing. Sadly, here in 2020, we had the passing of Chadwick Boseman. You guys may know as who played Black Panther, as well as Jackie Robinson and many other absolutely phenomenal characters. Chadwick Boseman was an icon to so many, and it killed us, man. It killed all of us, and I'm sure it killed you. What an awful loss. He had apparently been battling colon cancer, I believe, colon cancer for 4 years. Nobody knew about it. He had filmed all these movies, these intense movies, while going through chemo, while going through radiation, while going through, a battle with cancer. And then finally, a couple of weeks ago, he lost that battle, and it's a shame. And a lot of people have been wondering, you kind of want to give it some time before you start asking questions about the movies, but people have been wondering, what's going to happen to Black Panther. And after a couple weeks, I think Marvel finally put out a statement saying that Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa, the character T'Challa, was going to be laid to rest, and Shuri is more than likely going to be, she's speculated to take over as Black Panther. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Honestly, such a tough loss, man. It's just so sad. He was Black Panther, and I think that was such an important movie to a lot of people. The next MCU villain is believed to be Kang the Conqueror, which I think would be phenomenal. Kang the Conqueror is a time-traveling, very, very stoic, intelligent villain, and I think that he would be somebody, if you haven't read the latest Doctor Doom comic. It was his solo series that had, I don't even know if it's still going. I think it was only like 10 issues or maybe less, but really fascinating look into Doctor Doom and fascinating look into Kang the Conqueror and how they were tied together. I loved it. I think that Kang the Conqueror would be a really interesting villain to bring to the MCU. I'd be excited for that. Either that or what was the bug? Annihilus? That bug, cosmic. I like cosmic shit, man. I'm excited that that's the way the MCU is going for this next phase, because bring on as much cosmic shit as you want. I finally got to watch a few things that I should have watched. I saw Tenet a couple weeks into its run. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I usually love anything that Christopher Nolan does, but man, I've been sitting with it. I really need to watch it a second time before I make a judgment, because I feel like I very much enjoyed it, but I also feel like I guessed, like right within the first 20 minutes, I guessed all the big twists, quote unquote twists. Sorry if I just hit that and you guys heard it. I guessed it all. So if you guys have seen Tenet, please tell me what you guys thought in the comments. Like, fuck, I don't know. I really don't. I finally watched Watchmen. I just finished it the other day, and yes, it was amazing. Yes, it was everything I had hoped for. Yes, it was just as jarring and provocative and political as everybody says it was, and yes, I loved every minute of it. I cannot wait for the next season. I thought that they were going to have Dr. Manhattan look terrible. He looked great. So, and we saw a full-on penis. They weren't showing the penis. They were, no dick. And then finally, boom, dick. And what a dick it was. I think it's kind of disrespectful to the original actor who played him in the movie, because while that actor had a great dick, this was a much larger dick. And I just feel bad for him. I feel bad for me too. Don't worry. I feel bad for all of us. What a dick. Anyways, phenomenal show. Let's see. HBO Max launched this year, which was really, really great, because not only did we get the DC, like all of the DC movie library, including the live action stuff, but we got, for the first time on any streaming platform, we got the Studio Ghibli anime movies, which is I'm a huge fan of, and a lot of people are huge fans of. We got stuff like Friends, that moved from Netflix to HBO Max. We got the Harry Potter movies, which I think are already off of it. Just a lot of really great, a lot of really great series and movies. And there's a phenomenal, like, if you like horror movies, HBO Max has got some fucking bangers. So definitely hop on HBO Max if you get the chance. What's interesting is they just finally announced that DC Universe is going to be turned into DC Universe Infinite or Infinity or whatever, Dunder Mifflin Infinity, and it is going to be purely for comics. So that is what their comic streaming service is going to be. Their comic online reading service is going to be that app. And all the movies and stuff are being taken off and moved over to HBO Max, which I think is great. You know, it sucks that I have to have 2 subscriptions now, but great. The Boys Season 2 is currently going, episodes every Friday. It has been way better than the first season. The first season was good, I'll admit, but I do remember being like, at one point, like, fuck, this is kind of slow, nothing's happening for all these episodes. Every episode of Season 2, something has happened, and I love it. I'm not going to spoil anything. Please go watch The Boys Season 2. I hate that they've been doing it week by week. I'm a binger. Drop it. Just drop it. Let me watch it. Phenomenal. Bill and Ted Face the Music. I actually did watch that. It's a terrible movie, but it's like amazing if you're a fan. You know, the nostalgia was off the charts. I loved it. You know, I'm not gonna say I didn't have fun watching it. That would be a fucking lie. I very much enjoyed it. It just was not. I mean, if you're not a fan and you're not there for the nostalgia, you're going to be disappointed. It was not a good movie. But if you're a fan, it's kind of like the Kevin Smith, the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. That movie was not meant to be a good movie. It was meant to be nostalgic and to tug at our heartstrings of all the movies that we had watched in the past. The Dune trailer finally came out. I don't remember when that came out. I saw it for the first time when I went and saw Tenet. And luckily we went to see Tenet like the day before it dropped on the internet, so they had added it. But I guess a lot of people who had gone to see Tenet, like in its first couple days, they didn't play the Dune trailer. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. It was a very good trailer. I'm sure you guys have seen it by now. Holy fuck, I can't wait. I was not one of those people who was really into Dune. I've never read the book. I've never seen the original movie. I just know it through the pantheon of nerdiness, through the mythological side of nerdiness. And I'm excited, man. It looks really good. Marvel's Avengers game finally came out. It came out in beta, and then it came out in, I guess now it's out in its full form. And the story aspect of it looks phenomenal. I'm not going to say. The gameplay aspect of it looks fucking stupid. Every gameplay footage I've watched, it's flying around or you know, getting around and doing the same exact move over and over. Whichever person you're playing as, like Cap, there's like every gameplay trailer I've seen, they're just throwing the shield, like yeah, hitting the same thing over. Or it's like Tony Stark, refractor, and it's fuck. That is boring. The gameplay looks stupid as fuck, but the trailer or the story of it looks pretty good. The Last of Us 2 came out this year. Perfect game, perfect sequel, one of the greatest games ever made, greatest voice acting cast ever. I'm never going to stop talking about how good this fucking game is. It's excellent. It's perfect. I love everything about it. Can't wait for a third one, you know? Madden 21 came out. I know this isn't nerdiness, but I'm a big football fan, and Madden 21, I pre-ordered it like 6 months ago, right at the beginning of COVID, and I pre-ordered the MVP edition for like $100, and it is dog shit. It is the laziest, most buggiest, pathetic excuse for a Madden game ever. I'm ashamed to say I still play it like every night, but lately I haven't been playing it that much because it just sucks. You know, I saw the merit in some of the things they were trying to add, but all in all, pretty poor. It also has the worst. This is not a bandwagon opinion either. This is I play it, and I play it a lot, and this is what I think. because it does have the worst score on Metacritic history with like a point 0.5 out of 100. Holy shit. Fortnite, speaking of video games, Fortnite released the new season is, I think, going on now currently, completely Marvel themed. It's Thor, and it actually ties in with the comic books of Galactus coming to destroy the Earth. You know, hashtag galactic things, just galactic things, Galactus, Galactus things, and it's pretty cool actually. I played a couple matches. I bought the battle pass because I waste money, but I haven't been on since that first day. But it was pretty cool. It was nice you can get the skins to all these different Marvel characters, including Wolverine and Domino. No, they already did Domino. There's a lot. They've done a lot of Marvel stuff in the past, but I don't remember all who it is now. But Wolverine, Iron Man, Groot. That one's a cool one. And you can have as back bling Rocket Raccoon sitting on your shoulder. And then I just want to talk about this game. It's called Fall Guys. It's this new, really stupid Mario Party-esque game that I can't stop playing. I don't know if you guys out there, if your kids have been playing this game, but it's kind of phenomenal. And it's just like Mario Party. It's just like trying to get through these obstacle courses and be the first one to qualify, and it's dope as shit, and I can't stop playing it. But I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff that I missed. We're getting around that hour mark. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I missed, but I honestly was just dying to get on this microphone and talk. I talk a lot, and it's not as charming at work or with my girlfriend because they don't care. But when I get on this microphone and I sit and record to my computer, I talk to my friends. I talk to you guys, the listeners, who listen to our show and somehow have been faithful to our show. And I just thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. I'm sure I missed a lot of shit, so please tell me what I missed in the comments of the post. And follow us on IG at BatHatPod. Follow us, I think it's at BatHatPod on Twitter as well. I haven't been on Twitter in a minute, so I don't know. What is it? Let's check it real quick. Hold on. What is it? We can check. It is at BatHatOfficial. Ooh, I should probably change that. At BatHatOfficial on Twitter. And it's just been fun. So thank you guys so much for listening to this episode, and we will get you on the next one. Peace.